Welcome to the Hidden Layer, where we decode the latest in AI and, more importantly, show you how to actually apply it in the real world.
So let's just cut right to the chase. What if your AI could process an entire codebase for just a tiny fraction of the usual cost? Well, that's not some far-off dream anymore. This right here, this is the end result of the breakthrough we're about to decode. It's a revolutionary jump in AI efficiency that honestly changes everything.
Today, we're diving deep into DeepSeek V4. It's the new open-source model that's making million-token AI a practical, affordable reality for all you engineers out there building the next generation of AI agents. Oh, and you're going to want to stick around because later on, I'm going to reveal a key technique this model unlocks for designing agents that have a persistent, long-term memory. It's a game changer.
Okay, so first things first. Let's really get our heads around the core challenge that's been holding back truly powerful long-context AI. I like to call it the million-token wall.
The main bottleneck, the real villain of the story, is something called the KV cache. Now, the easiest way to think of it is as the AI's short-term memory, right? To understand a conversation or a long document, the model has to store key pieces of info here. The problem is, when you feed it something huge, like a whole book or an entire code base, this memory just has to grow, and it consumes a massive amount of super expensive GPU memory.
And here's what that looks like in the real world. I mean, look at this chart. With the older models, the memory requirement doesn't just grow, it literally explodes. See that steep dotted line? That's exactly why trying to process 1 million tokens of context has been just ridiculously expensive and slow for most applications. It just wasn't practical.
So how in the world did DeepSeek V4 just smash right through this wall? Well, it wasn't one simple fix. It was more like a triple threat of pure architectural genius.
They brought in 3 huge innovations. First, they built a smart compressor. It uses this new hybrid attention thing to intelligently shrink the AI's memory without losing the important stuff. Second, a signal booster, which is kind of like a crystal clear communication line inside the AI's brain, helping it learn way more effectively. And third, a master trainer, a brand new optimizer that acts like an expert coach, making the whole training process way faster and a whole lot more stable.
And what you're looking at here is the new architecture itself. You can see how all those breakthroughs are baked right into the model's core. The information flows through these supercharged transformer blocks, creating a system that is just fundamentally smarter and more efficient from the ground up.
Okay, so what's the real-world impact of all these changes? Because, the numbers here are absolutely staggering. Efficiency isn't just some nice-to-have feature anymore. It's the new superpower.
Compared to the model that came right before it, DeepSeek V4 Pro's KV cache, that short-term memory we talked about, is an incredible 9.5 times smaller. Let that sink in for a second.
And it's not just about memory. It needs 3.7 times fewer computational flops. That's just a measure of raw processing power to handle every single piece of information. It's just faster and cheaper at its very core.
So here's the real kicker. When you scale this all the way up to a massive million-token context, the efficiency gains get even more insane. We're talking about using less than 1/3 of the compute power and only 1/10 of the memory. This is what makes that million-token wall just completely crumble. Now, crucially, all this crazy efficiency doesn't come at the cost of performance. Not at all. In fact, it's what enables these state-of-the-art results. If you look across the benchmarks for reasoning and agent skills, DeepSeek V4 is now a new leader among all the open-source models out there. All right, now let's talk about what this unlocks for you, the builders, and that little secret technique I mentioned earlier for designing smarter, more persistent AI agents.
The key is this concept the paper calls interleaved thinking, and it's something that's only really possible because of this massive and now efficient context window.
This diagram shows you exactly how it works. See, unlike older models that basically get amnesia with every new message you send, DeepSeek V4 holds on to its entire chain of thought. It's creating a persistent, cumulative memory, which lets it handle really complex, multi-step tasks without forgetting its own logic or what it did 5 minutes ago.
And for you engineers, listen up, because this gets even better. The model introduces a way more robust XML-based way for the agent to call tools. This structured format doesn't just cut down on errors, it makes your agent's interactions with other tools so much more reliable. And, this is huge, it makes their actions verifiable. You can actually trace why the agent made a certain decision. That is a massive step forward for building AI we can actually trust. So let's bring this all home. What does all of this mean for you, and how can you start putting this powerful new tool to work, like today?
The bottom line is this. You can now build way more complex, stateful AI agents that truly remember things. You can cost-effectively chew through enormous documents, code bases, you name it. And you can do all of this with a top-tier open model that gives you more verifiable and robust workflows. It's a total game-changer for any kind of long-term planning and reasoning.
This breakthrough, it doesn't just lower the costs, it fundamentally changes the scale and the complexity of the problems we can now solve with AI. So the real question this leaves us with is, with all this new power, what previously impossible application are you going to build first?